All right, so we are now streaming on YouTube. Let's double check our schedule. Just want to make sure I don't forget anything about today. I think we can all agree about our trader, Calvin. We can definitely all agree about our trader. It's horrible. Hey, did anybody look at the Swiss report this morning? Anybody look at Swiss CPI by any chance? Let's take a fast look. You traded one contract, low volume. That's what we've been hearing that. I think every time you've been trading it, Roz, the volume's been low. The volume is low on the Franc, the 6S to begin with. It's not a high volatility instrument in general. So just out of curiosity, an extra chart. 6S. And what was that at 230, wasn't it? 230. What I like to do if I didn't look at a report is I like to shoot through the time, not watch, not look at the chart. Put the chart on 1 minute and then get close to the time of the report. So it was 2:30. I shoot back in time without looking at the chart. So I don't want to see what the news did. All right. I put a 1 minute chart on, and then each click of this little arrow is 1 minute. So I go to 2 o'clock, 2:20, right? And you can see the time at the bottom of the chart, 2:15. You could see the volume's getting heavier as it gets closer to the report. Price was sitting at the low, 2:30, and here's the trade candle, next candle. So it was a small spike, it looks like, to the downside. The question is, so that did not look great. Didn't look great. Looked like the initial spike was only 21 ticks. So not a gigantic move. Then it pulled back up, not that much, maybe 8 or 9 ticks. And then it went down some more ticks. So, if you used a 10 bracket, somewhere in there. There was profit to be had. Not huge, it didn't look like. All right, so we're just waiting on our oil trade right now. Um, I think everybody does agree that we can't stand our trader and Rhythmic. Rhythmic is really unbearable. Although I'd say, am I crazy? Has this week's been a little bit better in terms of orders freezing? I haven't seen frozen orders on our end this week. Last week was terrible. I gotta go get a haircut today and a shave. Haircut and a shave, 2 bits. What do you think? Haircut? Oh, I can't show it. My webcam is being used by YouTube. Let's make sure we're streaming. Looks like we're streaming. It's too cold. Or we have so much ice. My scooter is full of ice. I did a really bad job of protecting it this winter. It's really full of ice. Um, but it looks like we're not going to get any more cold weather for quite a bit of time. We need a soaking rain to get rid of this mess.
Alibaba says will take all available legal action after it was added to the Pentagon's list of companies allegedly aiding China's military. The US proposes ban on agencies using some Chinese semiconductors.
All right, so just watching, not trading anything at the moment. Okay, here comes our oil range. So I'm just going to let the oil trade play out,
US
see if
effective Federal funds rate unchanged
see
at
if it'll work.
0.64%.
See if it'll work. And then the YM, we're waiting on the open. Now the YM, it did pull back to the VWAP, like I was saying, but it recovered too quickly. I wanted it to kind of hang around at the VWAP for a half hour or longer so that we could trade the open with a good high of day, low of day magnet. When you say they sanded, there's the oil open with a little bit. Now my charts are spread apart a little bit, but that's about a 12, 13 tick range at the moment. That's a 13 tick range. They sanded your charts. You sanded your charts, sanded your streets for ice. I assume that's why they did that.
Goldman Sachs
Order
CEO on the
submitted.
US economy says we are positioned to run at a higher base growth rate. Speaking on CNBC.
Why do you get ice if it's 70 degrees? Right during your 2 weeks of winter. Got it.
Order submitted.
So if fill to the short side, I would put my stop above the range because it's so close. Couple of ticks above the range. It would be nice to hit the first target. That would be great. And just watching the YM, I think the YM is going to make more new highs. I think ultimately the market likes the CPI data, right? What's not to like? CPI is lower. Everything that we buy is higher, but the index is lower. That makes a lot of sense. Other than, maybe people could say eggs because bird flu killed millions of chickens. Millions. But it was Biden's fault that egg prices were up. Biden killed all the chickens. I guess we could say that. Biden is a chicken killer. Um, Eggs are now cheap again. So I'm just watching oil. Watching oil. I'm watching oil. Watching oil. What could I say? Watching oil. We'll see what it does. So we will be staying through the market open. That's all we got today, folks. It's a it's a quiet Friday. Well, I wouldn't call it quiet. CPI. CPI was a good report. Have I learned my lesson about gold? I don't know. Probably. Gold's like the Godfather. Just when you get pulled out, it pulls you right back in. And then it kills you. So the Phillies cut Nick Castellanos, however you pronounce it, Nick Castellanos. There's been a big controversy. Something happened with Nick and the manager way back in the middle of the season. He got benched. Anyway, the worst, maybe one of the worst general managers in baseball. They telegraphed at the beginning, way before the offseason even began, that they wanted rid of Castellanos. I mean, so why would anybody trade for him when they know they could pick him up for nothing? Just the worst. I don't know. I love baseball so much. I just hate the Philly management so much. I hate them so much. I just don't know if I can function. And oh man, if there's a baseball lockout, that would be so terrible next year. But this Philly team is a really hard team to like. They're a really bunch of sour guys. Some of them really sour, overpaid, entitled, sour dudes with one of the worst general managers that I've ever seen, and the worst manager. The manager personally blew 2 seasons in a row. Well, not in a row. He blew a whole season by mismanaging pitchers. And then he did it again last year. He puts the wrong pitcher in the wrong spot, and it costs them their final game. It's just I don't. It's unbearable. It's unbearable to watch. And they extend the guy. I mean, and he's a nice guy. I don't have anything against him personally. He's a nice guy. I think he's an awful manager. Awful. Just the worst. The worst. He's ruined 2 seasons completely with dumb decisions dealing with pitchers. He can't manage pitchers. He's proven it over and over and over and over and over. To me, it's a fireable offense to blow a season by doing something really dumb
Order filled.
that everybody else knew was really dumb. Now I'm going to move my stop to break even. Plus a tick. We've protected 8 ticks, right? I'm going to shrink the chart. So I don't know what to do with this oil trade anymore, everybody. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Today it's working, all right? Now we do have our MNQ opening chart. Let's get our MNQ going. Now I will trail. So there's the low of the day. Might as well make your target bigger, right? Do a little bit of trailing on oil to try and get some money back. I don't know that we're going to get down to the low of the day. That's pretty far away. That's like more than 50 ticks away. Let's get our MNQ chart. Where's my MNQ chart? Where are you? All right, so we will turn our Swiss franc chart into our MNQ chart. For the market open, let's make sure that our pivots are correct. So I'm just right-clicking, clicking on data series, use instrument settings for the trading hours is on. That's what I want. All right. Going to trail a little bit on our oil trade. I'm going to make the target pretty big. If it wants to go to the low, right, we'll take it. All right, so MNQ, we shall put our reverse continue on it. Let's make it an MNQ chart first. It's on the franc right now. MNQ 0326. Right click the chart. We're going to put our reverse continue on the chart. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. Couple of contracts, 40 tick target, 75 tick stop. Label it MNQ, reverse continue, right? Oil may be changing momentum a little bit. You know, it broke the VWAP, and now it's at the VWAP. So MNQ, trading it in our funded account. It's labeled MNQ reverse continue, apply it and okay it. And we'll turn on our MNQ reverse continue for the moment. Then we have our market open breakout trade. Let's load our template. MNQ new open is what we call it. MNQ new open. We're going to right click it and rename it today's date. Today's the 13th. Friday the 13th. Forgot all about that. And we'll trail a little bit as price drops. Wait. Now I will. All right. We're trailing. Now we'll go back to our MNQ. We'll put the time on 0. Our breakout. 929.59 is our trigger. The bracket's 40. And we'll go for 40 and 100 on the targets. And I'll go to break even if it hits the first target. Putting the time at 0 just to look at our brackets before the market opens. The trade is labeled breakout MNQ open. When you turn on a trade with 0 time, the software thinks time has already passed. So it puts the brackets on the chart, right? That's how you can check your brackets. Let's get rid of our vertical line. The dreaded vertical line under optional. Uncheck it. Vertical line on entry if you don't like it.
Order submitted.
And there's our brackets.
Order canceled.
Move our time and we'll put our time back to 9:29. Time back to 9:29. And we will make sure we have the right account chosen for the trade. Funded 54. Apply it, okay it. Make sure Chart Trader is on that account. Otherwise you won't see your orders. And we will turn it on. So our MNQ is ready. Let's put a magnet on the MNQ just to watch signals.
Order filled.
All right, so oil made about 200 and something on that trade. It did change direction, but we were trailing, so we made more than $200 on that trade. So a good solid oil opening range. What do we do with that trade, folks? What do we do with it? Next week, I wasn't scheduling those trades. All right, oil's done. Now the YM has pulled down, all right? So we can turn our high of day, low of day magnets back on. And we could take a trade at the open, all right? YM can go in any direction. Let's look at our setup. Checking the setup because yesterday I had some sort of an issue and I'm waiting on the programmer. We have a high of day, low of day, proximities 3, two positions. Position 1 is a default exit, -3 ticks. Default exit, -3 ticks. Target 2 is 10 ticks above the high or below the low. We have a 40 stop at the moment, and everything looks normal and fine. All right. Everything looks good. I'm buying at 70. Unfortunately, structure is a little bit too close to the high to buy above the structure. There would be so little profit unless it breaks through the magnet. If you put your order above the recent high, it only gives you 5 ticks of profit. So I think if it's going to go, yesterday we had a perfect trade. I see. Okay, I understand what you're saying, Chantal. I know that Putin did say something yesterday. That's interesting. All right. So YM at this point now, I would let it trade the magnets. Now I wanted to put a magnet on the NQ just to watch signals. So I'll put I'm just putting on a magnet to watch signals. So this will be our last event. Are you all still trading silvers open? Nobody's been mentioning silver at all. What's going on with silver? Nitin, you're still trading it, right? Silver, it can hand your head to you. Don't know what that means, Arthur. What does that mean? Now it's BIC. What does that mean? BIC. What is BIC? James, next week. We're releasing the new magnet next week. Sign up for the challenge. At the end of the challenge, it's going to be released. You want the link? I'll give you the link. It's in the chat, but I'll give it to you. Next week, big party. Having a big party. Oh, I see what you're saying, Arthur. I get it.
Turkey tab.
Arthur, I get it
Let me
now.
know European
I got you.
Geneva talks.
Bic instead of brick. I got you. I'm so dumb. All right. Couple of more minutes till the open. We're just chilling, chilling and waiting. Where you going, Roz? Where you heading next week? Nepal? Somewhere else exotic? I'm lucky if I leave my house. You're in Kenya. You know you're old when you can go through a
Yield on
whole
30-year
day
U.K.
and not
gilts
leave
for the
your
week since
house.
January
A
23,
whole day.
at 5.225%, down more than 3 basis points on the day.
I can't imagine living in Kenya. I can barely imagine living in Philadelphia. If I see a cockroach, I go crazy. All right, so MNQ, we've got a regular old reverse continue that sometimes we use, but we have our breakout. And we're just watching signals with the magnet. YM, I'll trade the magnet. Today's video day. Today I'm just going to make a ton of videos. Today I'm going to try and understand why nobody watches my videos. I'm going to try and understand why nobody comes to my streams. Nobody. I'm going to basically try and understand why I'm a complete and total failure. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Complete and total social media failure. 1000%. That's me. The markets are half a day, James, on Monday. It is a holiday. It's considered a holiday, so it's a lower volume kind of day. No one watches my streams. No one watches my videos. Um, no one's in the least bit interested in anything I have to say these days. I opened up a TikTok account and I just got so aggravated with the Ellisons, the fact that they're getting so much personal data of people that are on TikTok that I haven't followed through. And I think I'm going to do it anyway. And then Instagram, I'm waiting for the login, waiting patiently. It's not my account. I don't have the login. Waiting patiently. YouTube, I do a lot of posting. YouTube, we do a lot of streaming. Um, I use X a fair amount, medium, little bit of posting on X. I'm going to up that. Um, Twitter, it'll always be Twitter to me. Now they should just call it cesspool. It's basically just a cesspool. Actually, the whole internet is basically just a cesspool of useless advertising. I love that word, cesspool. It's just so dramatic. It's so dramatic. When I was a little kid, very little, we had a cesspool in our front yard. We woke up one morning and there was a giant cesspool hole in our front yard because we weren't connected to city water. And I don't know what happened, but there was a cesspool. It was disgusting. And after that, we got connected to city water. But I remember that. I remember I had a mother who was afraid of her own shadow. Everything scared her, everything. I just remember she wouldn't let me go outside. And all I wanted to do was stick my nose in the cesspool and see what was going on. So I just kept going outside, and she kept pulling me back in. Like I was going to fall in the cesspool. I mean, come on. I wasn't going to fall in the cesspool. I just wasn't. But that's one of those crazy memories. Nowadays, no one really knows what a real cesspool is because everyone's connected to city water. If you live out in the country, Roz, I'm guessing you have a well, and I'm guessing you have um, a well, and you have a septic system, right? So, Frank, that was in Long Island, West Hempstead, Long Island. Frank, that was the suburbs of New York. I did live in New York City, but as a grown-up, not as a youngster. I was in New York City in the 80s, in the height of the disco era. Actually, when did the Challenger explode? What year did the Challenger explode? Was it 86? TJ, why are you using such a crazy name? I know it's you. Patches. Why Patches? We had Crazy Eddie. Crazy Eddie was around in those days. I mean, I remember exactly where I was when the Challenger blew up. That's when I was working. I had my store in New York City because I was in my store. I remember somebody walked in and said the Challenger blew up. I can remember the exact place I was standing.
1 minute remaining for the market on open imbalance.
And I definitely remember Crazy Eddie's. He went to jail, Eddie Antar, for tax evasion. All right, here comes the open. YM probably will go up. That's what I would have thought.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Market on open imbalance. S&P
Order
500 sell
filled.
side
All right,
11.9
so
million.
every morning
Nasdaq
I
100
do the
52
same
million.
thing
Delta
on my
55.52
MNQ.
million.
I mean, it's a
S&P
winning
500
trade every morning, almost every single morning. It hits the first target and pulls back. So I'm putting 3 contracts on the first target and only one on my second one. So at least it's making, a couple of dollars on MNQ, but it's time to go to full size NQ next week. I think, let's either get the account paying or blow it up. I want to get the account paying or blow it up. It's just that simple. So it's time to trade
Nasdaq down
bigger
44.52 points.
contracts in it now.
0.18% after the market open.
Now, the market did go down. I still think the YM is going to test the high. So I will let it trade. it could wind up going all the way down and doing a magnet to the low side. The stop has to be below the VWAP if it feels long.
Alibaba ADRS opens lower by 3.7% after the Pentagon's
Now,
latest
the MNQ really is just chopping around. My MNQ trade is over. My MNQ trade is over. The breakout, that's over. That can be turned off. I have a reversal continue, but I don't have any motivation to enter a trade at the moment. My MNQ definitely moves differently than the NQ. It definitely moves differently than the NQ on the open. But I would guess you probably have different bracket sizes than me also. And different stops. So James, I'm looking into using Lucid instead of RTrader to avoid frozen orders. So I've had a little bit of confusion about something, but the research that I've done tells me that I can open a Lucid account with Tradevate and use Ninja. That's what my research shows. That we could use Tradevate with Lucid, but still use NinjaTrader and use our software. So that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to open a Lucid account. James, and I'm projecting this towards you. So James, quickly reboot your platform. You might not be in a trade, but also load up your RTrader and make sure that you're not stuck in a trade. So you could reboot your platform and the frozen orders will disappear, but also check your RTrader to make sure you don't have open orders, okay? Or orders that haven't triggered. James, where are you located? I'm just curious. And how fast is your internet fast? Is your computer relatively fast? Just curious about anything about your computer that could be causing you to have more frozen orders than most of us. You're definitely having more frozen orders than most of us. So I will let this fill, all right? If it decides it wants to fill me to the downside, I'll let it fill me. Okay, Richmond, very normal place. I'm assuming your internet. Are you using fiber, Fios, or Comcast, or TJ? Your RTY froze also. Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. That means it's not just James. That's that's important to know that. It didn't seem like all that dramatic of an open, honestly. So we should adopt our Roz's RTY open, it sounds like. I don't think I may not have written down that setup. I might not have written down that setup. I'm just debating if I want to let the YM fill. You know, we're getting well past the open now, where we're not really trading the open anymore. My feeling is if it keeps going down, it's going to test the low. So I'm probably going to just let it work. So I think it's going to fill. I want to see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'll cancel it because we had something happen yesterday. Oh, good, Roz. I was going to ask you if you wanted to. I'll create a template. I think I created the template the other day. I'm just watching.
Order submitted.
Now, I'd like to see the YM make the low. Come on. Test the low, and I'll get out of here.
Order filled.
Okay, so we got our 2 orders tested on the low. I wasn't, now it did wind up going through, okay? It did wind up going through for 480, 580. So that was a $180 trade. $180 trade. And it looks like the MNQ is going to test the low also. That it's going to do without me. It's going to do that without me. Oh my God. Excuse me. So a good YM magnet, it just took its time. And it's opposite direction that I thought would happen. Sander, very nice. I'll see you Monday. James, let me see if my rhythmic logs in. And I do want to let me thank everybody on YouTube for watching us. Just a quick recap. Made money on both opens. Made money on CPI on the YM. Got stopped on gold, but it probably was ill-advised to trade gold on CPI. All of our other setups were very good on CPI. So overall, good morning, really, if you traded the smart way for most. Now, sometimes you can have bad luck and you can get bad fills. But thanks everybody on YouTube. We'll see you next week. We'll be streaming in the morning. So thank you for joining us on YouTube. And I'm going to stop our stream on YouTube. Thank you. Hit the like button, notification